You're only as good as your last minute. That is a phrase that stuck with me uh, for a long time, and really, it's been a part of who I've continued and strived to be and to show up as. I'm reading a book. I'm wondering if I have it around here somewhere, but it's a new book by Cameron Haynes. I've gotten to know of Cameron Haynes. I don't know Cameron personally, but I followed him. I listened to a lot of Joe Rogan, and Cam Haynes is a friend of Joe's. He's probably arguably, or he's one of the best bow hunters in the world, and he's really kind of dedicated his life to being the best bow hunter he can be, and he does it through what he calls, he's got a mantra: keep hammering. And of course, the name of his book is called Endure. And what he does is he still works a 9 to 5 job. He runs every day, he lifts every day, and he shoots his bow every day. So, run, lift, shoot is his thing. And all with the purpose of being in the best shape physically and mentally to go out and be successful every year as a bow hunter. And that's just what he does every single day. And so when I talked about you're never as good as your last minute, that's kind of the life that really Cam is living, and that's what he means by keep hammering. That's I'm sure that's why the name of his book is called Endure. But I would definitely take, endure. You could play that a few different ways, right? He's endured a lot in his life, and he shares that story and the things that he's gone through. He's experienced from a young boy to a grown man, being a husband and a father as well, and working a full-time job, and still being an example for many others. In a way, I think he says that he's maybe doesn't see himself as an example, and maybe does, but I would love to get him on the podcast to talk about it. But either way, he is right. A lot of people look up to him for who he is, what he stands for, and how he works. And so when I said you're never as good as your last minute, and how that translates to me, right? I'm getting ready to run a 24-hour race up in Minneapolis, up in Bloomington, Minnesota, not too far from where I live, tomorrow. And I just ran 100 miles 2 weeks ago of a big race that I want to run in New Zealand. And so this is all part of the preparation, but it's also a piece of this mantra of I'm never as good as my last minute, right? I can sit and I can reflect. You might be able to, you can kind of see the buckle and the metal from the 100 miler that I just did, right there. And so sometimes we have big accomplishments, and we just sit back and we lean on those for the rest of our life. I kind of half-heartedly joke about, the people back in their small towns where they grew up, at the corner bar every Friday night or every weekend, talking about the glory days of when, they were the high school football star or whatever, right? And they just keep talking about those days because those are the greatest memories that they have, because they kind of quit living at that point. And that I was at an event called Seal Fit Kokoro. It's one that I've gone through, but I came back and I helped out. And one of the coaches, they had just, this group of men and women had just finished their 50-hour crucible, the ones that survived and made it through. And they were celebrating, but they're like, hey, we're not done yet. Right. They had to get all this equipment put away from the event, the rig for the pull-ups and some other equipment, the ice bath tubs and whatever else that they were using throughout the event. They had the participants, after they finished, put all the gear away, helped to put all the gear away. And so, he says, hey, yeah, you finished, but you're only as good as your last minute, and there's more work to be done. And I was like, at first I'm like, man, that's kind of harsh, right? But it's so true too. So think about that inside of your life. Where are some areas that you can continue to push instead of just continuing to fall back on who you were yesterday? Like, who are you going to be today? And just because you were someone or something yesterday doesn't mean you automatically will be that person. Now, that could be a good or a bad thing, right? The version of you yesterday might not be one that you were proud of. And so you don't want to continue to show up as that person. Um, but on the flip side, you might have a lot of great accomplishments yesterday or weeks or months or years past. And are you just you know leaning on those, or are you continuing to make new accomplishments and new journeys moving forward through today? And so that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to continue to upgrade the version of myself and continue to push and get a little bit better, and I encourage each and every one of you to do the same. So you're only as good as the last minute. Keep hammering, right? Like, endure. Check out Cam Hanes' book, Endure. It's a great listen or a great read. I started to listen to it, and then I still like to read a physical book. So I had ordered the book as well. It showed up, and really enjoyed digging through it. He's got like great pictures in there. Like, the book is awesome. It's a great book to flip through and to read and to digest. So I recommend you doing that. And I will be sure to report back with some new lessons, I'm sure, from these next 24 hours coming up, starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. So let's go.